meeting that would be beneficial for our audience to know about, like the Christmas parade and when it is, and we've got entry forms for that, we've got intent to serve forms, we've got chamber applications.
You're doing a good job, I see.
Daddy wants to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Never interfere with that man and his food.
Yeah, he even said, are you staying for the general meeting? I said, I'm staying to eat.
You got it.
Let me go. I know that you're eating, and again, I don't want to interrupt your eating, but I want to make sure that we are all introduced so we all know who's here, what business you represent, and I want you to be thinking too, you've got suggestion forms in front of you. Let us know things that we can do to benefit you and to make your chamber more accessible to you. So that's why we're here, is to work together as businesses. So we want to make sure that we meet your needs, that we know what your needs are, so we can work toward meeting those needs. So sometime before you leave today, if you would fill that out, you do not have to put your name on it unless you want to. Totally up to you. And the suggestion box is over at the window, if you'll just drop that in. Some of the things that we talked about today, our Christmas parade is coming up December the 7th. We are still hoping that more people will put floats in our parade this year. We do have some entry forms here for you, if that's something that you would like to do for your business, or maybe your neighbor has a business, you'd like to recommend that they put a float in the parade. That's really great too.
And we've added a category this year for the best business float.
Right.
See, I don't need to be talking and eating at the same time.
So there will be judging for the floats, so we want to make sure that everybody understands the categories that we have. So different dignitaries from the county will be judging the floats, but we did add a new category today for the best business float. So for those of you who have businesses, we want to make sure that you put an entry in the parade as well. Also, we're getting ready to start thinking about the new year with the chamber and new officers and new board members. So one of the things, again, I want to encourage you, yet again, to consider serving as an officer or a board member to help your chamber grow. Your chamber needs you, and you hear me say that a lot, but we really do need you. We need people who want to step in and step up and make this chamber be the greatest chamber that anybody could ever talk about. But it takes involvement and it takes dedication. I do have intent to serve forms here. If you would like to consider serving as a board member or an officer, please take one and complete it. You can bring it back to me. You can scan and email it to me. You can put it in an envelope and snail mail it to me. Whatever you need to do or want to do. But please make sure that you consider being an active member of your chamber. And also we have membership applications. If you have a neighbor who's not yet decided to join the chamber, take them an application and talk to them about why you became a member of the chamber. Because everybody has their own reasons, and we do this for different reasons. But we need to increase our membership. And we want more good members like you good members. So this is what I want to encourage you to do, is help us grow our chamber. The chamber is here to work for you, and that's what we want the opportunity to do. So I want you to think about all of those things. You didn't know there was going to be thinking exercises today. But I want to make sure that you're aware of those types of things. Do you want to do?
Well, why don't we start back row and everybody just introduce yourself and who you're with.
Yeah, as you get your mouth full, let's go.
What it means to me.
Okay.
I'm Marcy Hutchison. I'm from McKenzie. My parents are the Sykeses that were with the Stewart County Historical Society. So I'm a second generation right now that's still living.
Awesome.
My name is Terry Sykes. This is my wife, Geraldine, I think, or she was. And I am the only Sykes that's still alive that lives in the Sykes, that has lived in the Sykes Museum. And I want the chamber lady to know that I appreciate her very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes.
And he did all the votes this year, did not miss a one.
And we appreciate that.
And I'm Geraldine Sykes, and I'm the president of the Historical Society and the Sykes Museum.
And you all have something going on Christmas as well, right?
Oh, yes, she is decorating the Christmas trees, and she's got them, of course, it's another Tennessee Christmas. She's got her Tennessee tree put up. And how many more trees? Already got up? You've got
4
the
up now,
governors?
and I think there's like 5 more to go. It's everything Tennessee. It's everything that happens in the state of Tennessee. The big, huge 16-foot tree will be like the state bird, the state flag, the state everything.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Good.
When is
That was-
open house? It's the 7th?
The 7th.
The 7th, right after the
So
parade.
mark that on your calendar after the Christmas parade. You can
Right, open house, we have
Go.
all kinds of refreshments. And we do have a float, it's a truck, isn't it? It's a truck, so we've already entered your
Okay.
Christmas parade.
I'm Donald Watkins. I'm a lifetime member of the Stewart County Historical Society and on the board of directors.
I'm Cody Upham with Affordable Comfort from Paris, Tennessee.
I'm Levi Wyatt, and I'm on the youth representing CASA. I'm Misty Wyatt, I'm the Volunteer and Development Coordinator for CASA of the Highland and Stewart County. And this is my son Levi, and he's studying civics and homeschool this year, so I drag him around to all of the community events that I go to so he can learn how things work on the local level.
Hi, I'm Gil Calderon with the CBD Grotto. This is my very first chamber meeting. I recently joined. My wife and I originally are from California, moved out here 2 years ago in Clarksville. So that's where we initially are from. I joined the chamber so that I can be up to date with a lot of the events that happen down in this area. That's where we want to start focusing and expanding our territory, if you will, with business. And so we do hemp-based CBD products, so THC-free on up. And we don't have a storefront, but we do have an online presence.
I'm Don Bailey with the American Legion. We're working on Reefs Across America. We're less than 100 reefs from covering all of it, Fort Dawson. So if you'd like an application, please see me. That's going to be on December the 14th. Anybody can come out there and place a wreath on a veteran's graves. If you'd like to, please do so.
And you said you're only 100 away.
100 away.
Great.
Yeah, so we make a big donation. So, 100 away.
I'm Jerry Niemeyer. I'm also with the Legion. I'm the treasurer, so I get to count all the money, make sure down payment's okay.
What? What money?
What money? But I'm also in the health and wealth business, dealing with insurance in the state. Calm down.
Casey Bates, I'm Marie's Garage, everything.
I'm Van Herndon. I own Herndon Financial Services, a full-service brokerage firm here in town, and been here all my life.
I'm Holly Klein, I own Midway Pizza.
I'm Philip Wallace, retired educator.
I'm Patty Page with Patty Page Properties. Been selling real estate in Stewart County for 30 years, 31, and growing.
She's also the vice president of the chamber, and Philip and Holly and Van are on the chamber board. I'm the president of the chamber currently, and I own the Stewart County Standard newspaper. And y'all get it this week. I didn't know if y'all seen it or not, but Andy and Nadia Brigham were chosen by the board to be the grand marshals of the Christmas parade. And there's a really good story in there about how long they have been in Stewart County and what they have contributed to Stewart County. And speaking of the Sykes Museum, did y'all see your ad in there about the ornament with the Sykes Museum on the ornament? There's an ad in the paper that we've got ornaments here at the chamber on sale for $10, and the money goes to help the chamber. But it's got a picture of the Sykes Museum, the local museum for Stewart County, is on the ornament. So, you know, get you a Christmas ornament.
I'm Betsy Volkenburg, county employee.
And I'm Eva Loring, I'm your, current chamber director. We're having a lot of fun with chamber meetings, and I love seeing you all come to the general membership meeting. But we want to make sure that we get more people coming to the meetings so we can have more fun and have more people that you can network with, because that's part of the big job of the chamber, is to help you become acquainted with other businesses in the community. So we want to make sure that we're increasing our attendance every time we have a meeting. But right now, we're going to have some information from Miss Betsy about a project that's really close to her heart, and she's going to share some information with you about what she's up to these days.
I am the chairperson for the
Yeah.
I'm the chairperson for the Stewart County Children's Christmas Program. And each year we serve, it's for local children only, and normally we serve about 300 children. Right now, we just started our sign-ups November the 6th, and we're already at 160 children. We have a letter that comes out of the mayor's office. He signs it, and we send it out to a lot of local businesses, as well as businesses in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and they donate money for us to purchase items for the kids, We get a lot of help from the schools. They're a big help. Schools, churches. But this year, we're thinking that we're gonna have a few more than we normally have. So we're looking for sponsors. If anybody hasn't sponsored a child or is interested in a child, please just give us a call here at the Visitor Center. We would love to talk to you about it, or if you know a family in need, that we can help, we would love to be able to do that too. We generally do have a good fund balance, but we're always needing help, And we work with the guidance counselors, we work with the VFW. We all just sit down and have a big round table and talk about, if you're gonna take this family or you're gonna take this family. We have a pretty good process of the way we do it. Miss Margie Smith in the mayor's office, she is our treasurer. We have an application that folks fill out. We always do it by circumstance, but we also do it this way also, because it helps us from weeding out anybody that, you don't find it often, but sometimes people will try to, scam you a little bit. So we go that route, and we also, like I said, and this is the letter, Boo signed it, we sent it out, and we're doing good, but we can definitely tell we're gonna have more children this year than we've ever had, because normally on the first day of sign up, I sign up like 60 kids. This year, I'm already at 160, and I haven't even done, the second sign up. So, anybody that would like to sponsor a child or know of somebody in need, please just let us know. You can call here at call me at, of course, 931-627-1165. Anybody here can tell you how to get a hold of me, or you can call Miss Margie at the mayor's office, and they'll be glad.
Roughly, what are you looking to sponsor a child? What are we talking about?
We're talking about $75 per child. That's generally, we get a lot of donations. We take the money that we get. Miss Margie puts it all in the bank, then we just take the checkbook and go shopping. And we usually spend about $75 per child, so we're close to that. No, it's nothing. And
you can put the standard down.
okay, and then
I'll give it after the meeting.
okay, and then usually all the donations we get in town, from different peoples, that we add that with each child's items. And what we do is, I had my training, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the Last Minute Toy Store in Nashville. That's where I went for my training. So we do a smaller version of that here. We're in the basement, we have a table here, we have tables set up like this. We put the items that we purchase and that's donated, age appropriate on the tables. We let the families come in. We walk them through and they're allowed to pick so many items from the table because they know their kids best, you know. And we do get a wish list from them so that, you know, if one of them wants a Toy Story, a Buzz Lightyear or something, and somebody's donated, we know we can save that for that child because they really wanted it, you know. Or if mom or dad tell me, you know, they really would like a camera, it's $50. If you can buy that, I would really appreciate it, you know. So if we're able to do that, then we take donations and put with that so that, you know, we're able to give a little bit more. But it is a good program. I've been doing it for 15 years, and it's been around a whole lot longer than that. It's been through, I think the jail had it for a while, the juvenile office had it for a while. It's just, and then when it got passed to me, so far I've kept it for the last 15 years with everybody's help, you know. And like I said, this is local children, or this is children that maybe, say they, you know, like CASA, I'll use that example. Maybe they've got children that, you know, that's had to be put in foster care or something. But they're primarily Stewart County children, so we want to help them, you know. We want to keep it with Stewart County as much as possible. But any questions or anything y'all have, just feel free to call me, look me up here, or Margie at the mayor's office. She knows always how to get a hold of me, you know. And we appreciate y'all and everything that you do, you know, for the community.
And Betsy, you do also take unwrapped brand new toys, correct?
Absolutely. Fat Daddies is a big, they collect for us every year, and they have this little small blue bus, and they fill it up completely. They'll bring it next week. You know.
So you still got toys coming in and
Yes,
stuff like that?
yes.
Okay.
We still have toys. You know, Stewart County Concerned Bikers, they do a run for us every year. They always do it the first Saturday in October. They're a big backer. Budweiser in Clarksville, they're big backers of us. Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
Uninfringed just did a...
Uninfringed is doing some stuff right now for us.
When is the deadline?
The families pick the items up December the 12th, and they pick them up early so that they can get them home and get them out of, you know, put away before the children get out of school for the Christmas holidays. So they'll pick them up the 12th, and you know, like this year from the 9th to the 12th, I'll need to have them all ready, you know. So any time prior to that is, any time prior to the 9th, you know, that I could get them all together. But it's a good program. If y'all know of anybody or anybody wants to help, just let me know. And thank y'all so very much.
I had just a quick question. So I typically receive that one, and then I receive another one for the sheriff's department.
Don't give to that, and I'm just kidding.
And then I also usually do like the shop for the cop, which I hear they're not doing that this year. But and I know all those are supposed to be for the county children, but I mean, is there a system in place to where they're getting one or the other, and not one family getting from all three?
Right. We talk to the schools, the guidance counselors, you know, different folks like the VFW. We all make sure that, you know, if we sit down and one person, two organizations have the same families, we will generally call them and say, hey, you know, you signed up here and here, which one would you like to stay on?
Perfect.
You know, because we want to help them, but, you know, sometimes people don't intentionally sign up, you know, I don't want to call it double dipping, they just, they get confused about the organizations, you know, they don't they think, well, somebody can sign me up here, somebody sign me up here.
You tell yourself that, that's a good thing.
I like to think that way.
The main thing we can remember is that if you give out of the goodness of your heart, the Lord will know that. And what they do with it, we can't worry that much about that, but they do try and not have to do the same thing.
So does the Chamber of Commerce, I know you have a Facebook presence, or a website, do you guys have a Facebook presence also? or-
Yes.
So, like, will that be on the Facebook, what if it's an individual that doesn't own a business, that they get that wants to give? How does the chamber promote?
It's on the Facebook page.
Okay, it is, okay.
And we have, let me find it here. This little paper here, it kind of tells about it and everything, and I keep that flashed on Facebook pretty good.
And I think there's an ad in the newspaper too.
Yeah, we always try to keep it out there, until towards the end of the time, the program's over. But it is a good program, and it helps a lot of kids, because the thing about it is that we go by situations, but we also go by the poverty guidelines. Like a lot of the folks from Department of Human Services, they'll come over here, they'll have their SNAP paper. Well, Department of Human Services has done vetting them. And a lot of people are good working people. They just meet those, they fall into those qualifications. But it's a good program. And like I said, it runs under the county mayor's office. I don't really know about the other one you're talking about. I was joking about, but I don't really know about that. I do know about the shop for the cop, but you're right. I did hear that they're not going to do that.
That's what I hear this year, and I didn't hear a reason why.
And
I didn't either.
I think the VFW auxiliary, they used to do their own shopping, and I believe that their auxiliary has now voted to just give you the money. You
I
have to
don't-
give it to the county.
I don't know. I haven't talked to any of them yet this year, but like today, I'll be sharing some lists. We'll be sitting and talking to them out in North Stewart. I'll share a list with them there. We try to keep everybody informed with the different groups that we know of,
And I'll look at that one when I get back to the shop, because, a big thing for businesses is knowing for a fact that it's staying in our county and it's going to these children here.
Yes.
My wife started a deal at Dover Elementary, and it's not just for Dover Elementary children, but they kind of first them and their families, but it's called the Panther Pantry. And so, it's food, and so they've helped with sometimes paying medicine and things like that, but, it's definitely something that has been a blessing over the last couple of years for just a ton of those kids and their families over there. And so, that's something when I know I donate to that 100% of it is going right here to Stewart County kids and families. And that's the most important part for businesses. I want to know that it stays here.
The letter you should have received is like this one. This is the one that comes, the food signs. It comes out of the mayor's
I
office.
don't hardly trust food signatures.
But that's our program. But thank you all.
Thank you, Betsy. And that is a really good program to consider participating with if you've not done it before. We do have another speaker, but before we get into that, I want to let you know, in case you didn't hear earlier, your meal today was provided by Dover Grille. Mr. John Wilson donated your meal today. So please stop by sometime and thank him. Dessert today, which looks absolutely scrumptious, was provided by Misty. So we want to make sure that we thank her for that as well, so we can all have a good meal today while we're enjoying each other's company. And right now I'm going to turn the program over to Misty so she can talk to you a little bit about what she does and how her organization is benefiting the community.
My name is Misty Wyatt, and I am the Volunteer and Development Coordinator for CASA of the Highlands Room, Stewart County. CASA is court-appointed special advocates for children, so the theme for today is obviously children, and I want to extend my appreciation to the Chamber for hosting today and letting me speak about our organization. We're kind of unique in the chamber because we are a nonprofit, but I wanted to share with you all what we do. And then I have kind of a little add-on that I want to share at the end about how as businesses, coming up in April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Month, National Child Abuse Prevention Month, that you all can sort of maybe collaborate with us and work with us. I love that Judge Brigham and Nadia are the Grand Marshals this year. Judge Brigham is the reason that this program is in Stewart County. He is our juvenile court judge, and he worked hard for years to get CASA in Stewart County. So what we do, I'll just give you a little brief overview. There's a National CASA Association, and then there's Tennessee CASA, and CASA of the Highland Rim falls under that umbrella. Our main office is in Dixon, but we have branches in Hickman and in Stewart. We're looking at Houston and Cheatham coming up in the new year, so we're expanding. What we do is we are advocates. We are trained volunteers who advocate for children who are in the foster care system who have been victims of abuse and neglect. Oftentimes we'll say they're in the juvenile court system, but they're not. It's not for truancy, it's not for delinquency. They're in there by no fault of their own. They have been abused or neglected and come into state's custody. And so when that happens, judge will assign CASA to certain cases that may seem to need extra eyes and ears. We train volunteers. Our volunteers have 30 hours of specialized training, and then each year after that, they get 12 continuing education units about trauma, about the court system, about how to mentor and interact with these children appropriately who are in the foster care system. They go to court when the children's court dates come up. They go to foster care review board and represent these children. They visit with the children monthly and interact with them. They have access to their educational records, medical records, counseling records, and if these children aren't getting what they need while they're in the foster care system, their advocate is going to speak up on their behalf and ask that those things be court mandated for them. For example, if a student needs an IEP and that's obvious and they don't have one, and the parents still have rights and the parent is saying no, then that advocate's going to go to court and say, this child is not doing well, this child has a deficiency, this child needs to be evaluated for an IEP, and then the judge can court order that to happen. And that's just one small example of what happens. Sometimes things happen where things fall through the cracks. The DCS worker has 30 kids assigned to them. A CASA worker has one case. That may be 3 or 4 siblings, but it's one case at a time. So volunteer advocates are screened by CASA, and this is what I do as part of staff. We train them, and then they have fingerprinting, background checks. So we are very cautious with the people that have access to these children. They form a one-on-one relationship with a child. I was just sitting over there getting text messages from one of my advocates because she's really connected with a teen who is in our program, and she was just thrilled with her ability to interact with her and how she's been able to speak up for some things that the child wasn't comfortable sharing with her social worker, and she wasn't comfortable sharing with someone at school, but she shared with her advocate because that advocate is with her monthly. She has access to that advocate through text. And then judges depend on CASA court reports so that they get information that they otherwise wouldn't get. The judge doesn't interact with the case outside of the courtroom. So everything that the judge learns is represented in that courtroom, and so that CASA court report is so valuable because when we have concerns and recommendations for those children, that goes into that court report, and the judge gets to see that firsthand information that these advocates are gathering. But to me, while that is super important, the relationships that these advocates form with these children and them having that one stable, consistent adult who sticks with them throughout that time. They may have multiple foster care workers because the turnover in DCS is huge. They may have multiple attorneys assigned to represent them legally. They often move from foster home to foster home, but their CASA advocate sticks with them the whole entire time. And our goal is safe, stable, long-term permanency for these children. Sometimes that means being reunified with the family, and we do work on that side too. While we are child advocates, we do encourage the parents. Here are some resources for you. Here are some classes that we recommend that you take. So we work through that toward reunification. That's not always possible, and when it's not, we don't want these children to remain in the system because the Department of Children's Services is a terrible parent. We don't want that for them. They are wonderful people, but their job is not to parent. And so we don't want these children to remain in the foster care system for the rest of their lives. And so we're advocating, pushing, pressing, trying to get them in a permanent place, whether that's through adoption or guardianship. There are a lot of ways that CASA supports these children who otherwise might not have any support. Just one example, I cannot speak specifically ever because confidentiality is huge, but there is a young person who, because of no circumstances of her own fault, there is no family. There is nobody connected outside. It's just her. She's going to age out in the system. She has a lot of needs, educational, physical, that are met because we find people who are willing to donate clothing. We find people who are willing to donate hygiene needs. Imagine yourself as a teenager living in a stranger's home and having to ask for things that you need for your own personal hygiene. Imagine how vulnerable and uncomfortable that has to feel. We don't want that for them, so we're just going to send those items out with our advocates when they go for those visits so they don't have to ask. And there's so many things that we do behind the scenes to support these children while they are in the most vulnerable and just incredibly insecure time of their lives. So how can you help? And that's always the end of it, right? This is what we do. What we do is super important because having healthy children and helping these children come through this terrible circumstance with resiliency is important for our community. Because if we get these issues kind of fixed on the front end, A, we're not repeating generational circumstances, and B, they're going to be productive. They're going to work for your business. They're going to run their own business. They're going to have success, get an appropriate education, have appropriate resources while they're going through the system so that when they come out, and there's this wonderful thing now called extension of foster care, and if they take on that program toward the end, and that's something else our advocates do, we strongly encourage them, stay with this, take extension of foster care, get your education, get a future that, your past doesn't identify you forever. When that happens, they become productive members, and they may be sitting here one day as part of the Chamber of Commerce. And so the future depends on the now, and it's important for us to be investing in them. So there are multiple ways that can happen. And of course, the first thing is if you go on Facebook and you look up CASA of the Highland Rim, Stewart County, and you just share our post on social media, that's a free way to help us that takes 3 seconds. I encourage everybody to do that because building awareness has been something. I took this job in May. I was an advocate for 4 years. I was the first case assigned in Stewart County before I took this job. But building awareness has been something that's been really eye-opening for me because a lot of people know we exist but don't know what we do, are confused about what we do, think we're connected to DCS. A lot of people don't know we exist. So I've been spending a lot of time going around speaking to different groups, church groups, civic organizations like Kiwanis. I am available to speak to your group. I'm available to speak to a few individuals. I'm available to speak to your workplace on your lunch break. I think my son handed out my cards, so you can contact me.
Yes, I was going to ask, does he get extra credit for that?
He does. He does. We formed a Friends of CASA organization, and my husband is the best friend of CASA, and he's the second best friend of CASA. They do. And Friends of CASA is a way, and I'm going to be hanging around afterwards. If you don't think advocacy is for you, it's a big commitment. If you are interested in advocacy, please connect with me. But Friends of CASA is a new organization. We're going to have our first big meeting in January. We just formed a steering committee for that, where you can help us with our events, like food truck events, where you can support us financially, where you can share your individual gifts and talents. My mom is a decorator. She loves to do things like that. She decorated the tables for our Champions for Children fundraising banquet. That's a way that you can help. There are so many ways to support our organization that don't require advocacy. However, advocacy is my first priority, and if you're interested in that, but if you're interested in Friends of CASA, which takes very little commitment, you can work as much or as little as you please. I'll be around after. I have a form you can fill out through Google. But the other thing is, since you all are businesses, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. The second Wednesday in April, which is April 9th, is Blue Wednesday, and that's national. And that's where we encourage businesses to wear blue. We're gonna have, CASA is gonna have t-shirts for sale if your business wants to, all of you, wear blue. Have some pamphlets on hand for awareness that day. If you own a business, run a special that day where you donate, not necessarily even to us, but to some organization, maybe even Miss Betsy, that supports children in your community in some way. On April 9th. I'm going to be sending out letters about that, so you'll all probably be getting that letter. I know how that goes. That comes in the mail. Sometimes we're like, here we go again, somebody's begging me for money. But please don't throw it away, because there are ways you can help that don't even require a financial commitment. Just ask you just to look at that. These advocates are doing such hard work. They take this so seriously. They support these children through some terribly hard things. They hear some terribly hard things that have happened to these children, and they promote the welfare and the stable permanency of those children, but also encouraging them toward having a successful future on the other side of going through the child welfare system. It's an unfortunate circumstance, and I've encountered people in our community who aren't aware of the extent to which it affects our community. As early as 2 years ago, we had over 50 children in state's custody that were from Stewart County. They're not always placed here because we don't have adequate amount of foster homes, and then sometimes for safety reasons and other reasons they're placed outside of the county. Currently we have approximately 30. That number goes up and down as cases close and cases come in, but in the entire 4+ years that I've been associated with CASA, it's never gone below 30 children who are in state's custody from Stewart County. Those are the ones who are represented. Those are the ones who have been reported. Those are the ones who've had an active DCS investigation and a case has been opened in the court system. Reporting is also so important. If you go on the internet and just type in report abuse in Tennessee, it's going to take you to a government webpage. If you suspect abuse, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Even if nothing comes of it, somebody checked on that child. It's so valuable. We depend on our teachers so much for this. We're so thankful for our teachers who do a lot of this reporting, but I encourage you, if you see something, say something. I know that's such a cliche, but it's so important when it comes to child welfare. So ways you can help, you can donate. Obviously, we're a nonprofit. We rely on grants and donor funding. Secondly, and that's to train our advocates and to have support staff like me, because I'm available to these advocates, but I'm also going and doing things like this, trying to build awareness often. So there's a lot of work involved in what we do, and then it takes $1,300 to train one advocate from start to finish. That's staff time, materials, everything else, background checks, fingerprinting, everything that's involved. You can donate, you can become an advocate. You may think, I don't have time for that. On average, it's about 10 hours of volunteer time a month after the training's over. The training is in the Google Flex classroom or in person with me. We meet once a week for an hour to discuss what you've learned either through the manual or on Google Classroom. So it's super simple. It takes 5 weeks, and then you go to court with me one day for court observation just to see what it's like to go to court. We teach you how to write those court reports, but I'm always available for support for that. That's a large part of what I do. We currently have 10 advocates. This is the first time we've been in double digits since the program began. So we're really excited about that. We have 3 in training, and we're serving 15 children, and we have 7 advocates currently assigned to a case. So we have a couple available, and that's unusual for us too. Usually we're scrambling to find advocates, so I feel really encouraged right now about the community response and how the program is growing. Our goal is that every child who comes into the court system in Stewart County would be able to have an advocate assigned to them. I think it's important, and I know Judge Brigham agrees with that. This is part of his legacy in Stewart County. He loves this program. He promotes this program. And I appreciate you all for your time. And I want you to think about Blue Wednesday, think about how you can participate in Child Abuse Prevention Month in April, but I'm definitely going to be getting letters out to you all that explain that further. So that's my presentation. Thank you for listening.
You know, your organization is one of those that you wish wasn't needed,
Exactly.
but it is desperately needed.
I almost always say, whenever I'm presenting like to churches and civic groups, I say, I love my job and I wish it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because I wish it didn't need to exist. But while it does,
Yes.
we're here to do that work. Thank you for drawing attention to that. I appreciate that. Thanks, Liz. Thank you.
We have a presentation now, right?
Yes, we do. Come on.
Peppers?
Okay, let me throw my,
Do your dishes.
yeah, let me get my messy,
Just make your gate, that's okay.
That seemed a lot quicker.
Do something, buddy. You're good, Daddy. You're my man,
Okay.
Daddy.
We have a presentation to make from our scarecrow contest. And we were hoping that all of the finalists would be here today, but unfortunately there were other meetings that took priority over this. But we do have one group that's here.
We would like to announce that Sykes Museum is a finalist in our Scarecrow contest. Come get your plaque. Come on up.
I will tell y'all, I heard that the characters on their porch were modeled after Mr. Sykes, but I don't know that that's true.
Well, his grandparents.
His grandparents.
My
Here you
husband, Terry's
go.
grandparents
All right,
lived
look,
there.
Look at Betsy over
Okay.
there. We'll get a picture. Now, and I think Hudson House was another winner. She's not here because they scheduled their meeting the same time as the chamber meeting for some reason. I don't know. I have to ask Melissa about that. Now, first place in the Scarecrow contest was Century 21, and I don't see any representatives here from Century 21. So.
They've already taken their display down because they were anxious to get their Christmas display up. But if you have time, drive by and look at Hudson House and drive by and look at Sykes Museum if theirs is still up. It's just, okay, it's not up. But just remember that
Think
we do
about it
this
for
every
next
year.
year. Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So we want businesses to participate with us next year. Comments, questions, concerns that you all have? Things that you want us to know before we dismiss?
If there's no comments, I say we adjourn this meeting.
Thank you all for your attendance. We really do value you as members of the Chamber of Commerce, and please stay active with us, and we'll see you next time.